Okay, let's dive into this. Think about it for a second. What if projects that are creating real, tangible social or environmental impact didn't fail because their idea was bad or because their team was weak, but because of one simple, very frustrating problem? A lack of visibility? That is the core business problem we're tackling today, because the sad truth is a lot of great ideas just die in silence.
Here's our roadmap for how we're going to deconstruct this today. We'll start with the visibility problem, look at this new impact model, break down phase 1 and phase 2 of their strategy, explore the cumulative principle, and finally, see how it builds a self-reinforcing ecosystem.
All right, kicking things off with section 1, the visibility problem. Look, passion and utility simply aren't enough if you don't have a system to actually reach the right audience. You can literally have the best solution in the world, but if nobody knows about it, your impact is exactly zero. So here's the core solution. Cugnet's list provides selected impact projects with advertising credits. This is direct capital specifically meant to help these projects reach way more people, attract supporters, raise funds, and scale their mission. It's an incredibly targeted, fast way to generate immediate visibility. Moving right along to section 2, a new impact model. This is a massive pivot away from traditional charity. Consider the standard traditional grant. It's essentially a one-way capital flow, right? You get the money, you say thank you, and you go off and do your work. But the Cugnet's list model relies on reciprocal advertising credits and a real ecosystem commitment. There's one golden rule here. The more advertising credit you receive, the more you have to commit to giving back to the impact ecosystem. It is a very strict give-to-get motif. We're talking about a continuous chain of impact, not a one-way street. Which brings us to section 3, phase 1, digital visibility. So how does this actually work in practice? Well, this brilliantly illustrates how the reciprocal relationship escalates. For just $10 in credit, your commitment is super simple. You just follow Cugnet's list. At $25, you give them a social mention. But at $50, the focus shifts outward. Now you have to share another approved impact project with your audience. At $100, you're publishing dedicated public post support. And by the $250 mark, you're publicly displaying the Cugnet's list badge right on your website. It proves to the world that your project is actively participating in this system.
And then it builds into much deeper relationships. At $500, you're stepping up to introduce Cugnet's list to another credible project. At $1,000, you're creating a video testimonial to inspire others. But at $2,500, there's a major pivot. You actually must give tangible resources to another approved project. This could mean sharing your expertise, maybe your tech, professional services, or honestly, just your time. You received a resource, and now you have to provide one.
Now things get really interesting in section 4, phase 2, strategic access. As those credit amounts grow, we completely leave basic digital sharing behind. The stakes get significantly higher. At $5,000, you officially become an impact partner, meaning you're actively helping the ecosystem grow. At $10,000, you have to make a genuine introduction to a real decision maker, like a founder, an investor, or a foundation leader. At $25,000, that scales up to 3 decision makers. And at $50,000, your commitment changes dimension completely. You literally have to put Cugnet's list on a public stage. Think a podcast, a keynote, or a major media interview. You're receiving massive media power. And in return, you have to help amplify the entire system.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer scale of this maximum tier, $100,000 plus. At this level of funding, we are talking about ecosystem-altering sums of advertising credit.
And because the credit is massive, the reciprocal requirement is massive too. At this $100,000 plus level, you aren't just making a couple of email intros anymore. You are providing strategic access to elite, high-level environments. We're talking leadership communities, exclusive investor networks, institutional circles. The whole goal here is to plug Cugnet's list into the precise rooms and organizations that are capable of helping them fund even more ambitious projects. It's all about leveraging elite access for the good of the entire network.
Next up, section 5, the cumulative principle.
Okay, this is absolutely crucial. This is the rule that acts as the linchpin for this entire corporate strategy. The cumulative principle simply dictates that every funding level automatically includes all the commitment levels below it. Honestly, it's genius. It means that if you're a $100,000 partner providing institutional access, you are still executing the baseline tasks. You're still wearing the website badge, you're still doing the video testimonial, and you're still following them on social media. The more visibility Cugdent's list gives out, the more compounded value comes rushing right back into the network. Finally, Section 6, a self-reinforcing ecosystem. Let's pull back and look at all of this as a scalable macro vision. So the crucial point is this 4-step flywheel. Step 1, a project receives visibility through those advertising credits. Step 2, that newfound visibility creates actual measurable growth. Step 3, that growth creates tangible resources, relationships, credibility, and influence. And finally, Step 4, through all those commitments we just outlined, part of that exact value returns to the ecosystem to help the next project, and then the next one. It's like a giant puzzle where absolutely everything is intimately connected. I love this quote because it really hits the nail on the head regarding their whole philosophy. Visibility creates impact. Impact creates opportunity. Opportunity creates more impact. This whole thing isn't just about giving away free advertising credits. It is about engineering a sustainable, self-reinforcing chain reaction of positive change.
So I want to leave you with the exact same provocative question that Cugnet's list puts out into the world. If you have a project out there that is creating meaningful social or environmental impact, apply for the credit and tell them, what do you want to change? It's just an incredible model that demands active participation in exchange for scale. Thank you so much for joining me on today's Explainer. I really hope this structured look at the Cugnet's list ecosystem has sparked your curiosity and maybe inspired you to think a little differently about how we fund impact. Keep learning, keep building, and I'll see you next time.